So welcome guys to my third and last video of the LinkedIn series, and today we are going to talk about one of the most important parts of our LinkedIn activities, and this is networking. Networking is something which most of the people are doing the wrong way. As the most of the people are creating content the wrong way on LinkedIn, the most people do the networking in the wrong way. So first, networking is never about you and about you needing something, a job or selling something. The networking should be all the time about the other person. So there's the first myth. So people think, okay, I have a new contact, so the new contact will organize a job for me. But it doesn't work like that. It's sociologically and statistically proven that in big majority of the cases, it's never our inner circle who is opening us the door to a new job, but it's in most of the times a contact of the contact. And I would like to show you my soft networking approach in this video. And this approach is consisting of 3 steps. So how do I find the person and evaluate them on LinkedIn? That's the first step. Second step, how do I start my contacts? So how do I write the connection messages so I have the biggest possible probability of being accepted? And third, how do I get the person to the meeting and talk with them and make a nice or a good impression on them? So this is those are the 3 steps. So first, it will be a little bit technical, and I will show you how we can use the LinkedIn search for finding the people in the most efficient way. And again, LinkedIn is not Google search. The algorithms works a little bit in a different way, and we have fantastic tools to optimize our search, but again, most people don't know it. So I'm going to share with you now. So let's start the screen sharing again. And now you should be able to see my screen. And first and most important trick is to click into the search window and press the enter button. And please keep on pressing the button most of the time. Because sometimes if you click see all results, then LinkedIn throws you out of the search because LinkedIn, not all databases are in a perfect shape. So now we see the information got sorted. So what are we going to do? Now we click in this button people. And by clicking in this button people, we see 899 million people who are on LinkedIn. That's a little bit too much. What LinkedIn does for us, LinkedIn suggests first profile of people that LinkedIn thinks those could be interested connections because of our code words which you have on our profiles, our experience, our positions we have been doing in the past, and so on. But this algorithm is not very smart, so we need to drive it a little bit from our side. So let's imagine we are searching for a job in Switzerland. So let's put the locations to Switzerland. If the country is not there, you will simply edit. Okay, so location, come on, Switzerland, show results. And here we go. So we see 3,400,000 people in Switzerland. And what we do now, we have a fantastic combination of the content of the search field in combination with the famous Boolean logic operators. Mr. Boole was logician, mathematician from Great Britain from the 19th century, and he's the inventor of this and or not logical operators. So let's assume we are searching for people who are either head or CEO of something. So I put head or in big letters and I press again enter. Now I will see that I have 248,000 of people have somewhere on their LinkedIn profile, they are either head or CEO of something. And we can combine this result with the all filters tab. And this now will be very, very powerful. So I can now put here what are the people talking about, but those are only content creators, so I wouldn't use it because it will narrow our search very much because only few people are content creators. I can filter by the current company. I can filter by the past company. I can filter by schools, and I can add the industries. So let's have a look. We are searching for people in pharmaceutical, chemical manufacturing, and we would like to have biotechnology research as well. So I would add those industry. And again, I will now, here you can click show results easily. So now I'm on 23,000 results. Okay, so the sample is getting smaller, which is good. And now we have another fantastic opportunity in the all filters, and I can search by school. So for me, as a guy from Czechia, probably it would be easy for me to first network with my compatriots because we both speak the same language, we both are in Switzerland, and there will be many more other commonalities. So if the school is not there, so let's simply add the school. So where we go, Charles University, and then let's have a look how many people in Switzerland are either head or CEO of something, and they are alumni of the same university as me. And I got 32 results, which is definitely not that bad. Now let's have a look which person would be a great connection for me. So for example, okay, Jana Reitmeier looks like interesting personality because I'm a QA guy and she's a QA and compliance lead at Bering. My sister is called Jana, so this, and I have already 4 common connections with her. So this is, so now I have evaluated a person. Now how am I going about that? So imagine I would like to connect with Jana, so I need to explain her in a level of detail why, what do we have in common, so she's accepting my connection request. So I will scan her entire profile, where she was working, CSL Bering, I have colleagues there. She was working as a senior director supply chain logistics. I'm coming from supply chain logistics as well. She studied in Dublin. Dublin is a favorite city of my daughter, and so on and so on. So I already now know that I have a lot of in common with her, and I will write her a connection request exactly along those lines. If I wouldn't know anything, if I wouldn't find enough, I could click on show all activity, but she doesn't post that much, so I wouldn't find that much there. If I'm really interested in Diana, I will Google her name, check her if she's on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and I will try to find out information which will show our commonalities. Because if you are reaching out to someone and the person doesn't know you, you have to make the other person feel safe. Imagine somebody is contacting you with a naked connection message without explaining anything, and it's a cryptocurrency dealer without a picture. Probably your trust into the person won't be very high. Am I right? But if the person has a nice background picture, nicely described headline and everything, you will be probably feel some sort of trust in the person. So how would I do this now? Okay, I know we have a lot of in common, so I will now never send the naked connection request. So add a note, and I would write something like dear, and I would I would write it in Czech in this case. So I would write her something like, Dear Jana, as an alumni of the Charles University in Prague, a person who spent long years in the quality and supply chain, it would be a great pleasure to connect with you. I don't write it in Czech because you won't understand it, but this would be storyline I would write to Jana. Okay, I don't do it. I don't send it now. I do it later. Okay, so this is the way I'm evaluating people. Imagine you should behave basically like a criminal inspector who would like to bring a criminal into him behind the bars. Try to find out everything around the person and try to find out where you have commonalities, because commonalities are creating trust, and if you have a lot of in common, the other person will accept you. So this is the first step of it. And what do you think is going to happen after that? In most of the cases, the person is going to accept your connection request. And that's all. Nothing more is going to happen in most of the cases. So what do I do next? I am sending the other person a thank you message, but not immediately. Most of the times I wait for 1 or 2 days, because if we are on a job hunt, we should behave like a hunter. And the hunter doesn't take his weapon, his rifle, and starting to shoot immediately at the edge of the forest. He needs to be quiet and patient. Because if you react immediately, it looks like you need something and you don't need anything. This is the basis of every person who is searching for a job. The mindset should be, there are plenty of jobs for me out there, and I will simply get one of those which satisfies my need and my skills. That's it. Never think of the job search in terms of scarcity. All the time there are plenty of jobs for you, because if you have a mindset of scarcity, this is a wrong mindset. So think about it in terms, there are plenty of jobs for me. So the next step, I send the person a short thank you message, and probably most of the times the other people will write thank you as well, Václav or something like that. If not, nothing is going to happen. I wait for another 1 or 2 days, and then I'm sending the person the third message, which goes like, Dear Jana, thank you very much for accepting my connection request. Would you find 15 minutes of time in your agenda? And don't worry, I am not going to ask you for a job. And into this, I enter my planning link from Calendly. And how will you set up your Calendly link? I'll show you immediately. Why am I telling this? Because most of the people will be anxious to talk with you if they assume you are going to ask them for a job. Why? It's not that people won't help you, but most of the people feel miserably if they could help someone and they can't. So it simply leaves them back with a bad emotion. So, and if you tell the people you are not asking for anything, there is a big probability that the other person is going to talk to you. Really. I'm doing the same. I'm not hunting jobs, but I'm hunting clients. So my statement goes like, don't worry, I'm not going to sell you anything. This is the very important part. And if I put the screen sharing on again and go onto my profile, so I would like to show you two very important articles in my newsletter, which is describing the correct behavior on networking. So this is the newsletter, and those are the two articles which describe how you find the people and how are you starting coming into contact with them. So first of those, let me scroll down, is this one. How do you find people on LinkedIn and easily connect with them? So this describes the technicalities of the job search. How do I find the people, and how do I write them the connection message? The second one is, how do I run the meeting as such? What are the most significant secrets of successful networking? And if you would like to be successful with getting people talking to you, you need to have a planning link the same way I'm using it, and this is Calendly. And if you have a look on the site of Yael Carmeli here, she has written a beautiful article about this topic, and the article is called How Can You Arrange a Meeting Without Lot Back and Forth? So if we open the article, then you see a step-by-step recipe how you set up your Calendly link. And no worries, if you're using Calendly for 15 minutes, then you have a free account which allows you to run the 15 minutes, and if 15 minutes are completely enough. So this article explains everything, how you set up your account, how you put the different modes of communication into it, 15 minutes, how you edit, Google Meet, Zoom, add other location option, and so on. And it looks like that. And if you have a calendar link, your probability of getting a date with the person are way higher than if you try to find a common date just by pinging it, also writing emails back and forth, or give me some suggestions. This is the easiest way how you can do it. I'll show you how it looks like in my calendar. So if we go back on my profile, so as I elaborated in the first video, that's the featured section, and here is my planning link. So you click on the planning link, view, and now you end up in my calendly.com Shulista Consulting. And make sure that your Calendly link is congruent with the ending of your LinkedIn profile, so it all looks the same. Okay, let me find a 15-minute meeting. Now you see, okay, March is over, so let's have a look on April. Okay, the next one is April the 4th, 15:45. You could find the date, confirm, you fill these details, and then you send it. You choose which location would you like to have. Be aware that Microsoft Teams, you need to have the paid version. With the free version, it doesn't work. Well, you can schedule Google Meet, you can schedule Zoom for free, and Verify is a very good communicator, so you can create a Verify free account, or you can let the people know somewhere else, or you can put your phone number there for a phone call, whatever, that you will click schedule event, and that's all. People are sometimes asking me, why should the people talk with me? And what do I write them as a motivation? I sometimes use a sentence like, we are going more and more digital, and the real human contacts are getting lost on its way. And that's why I'm convinced that it's important to put our LinkedIn contacts into real life. And people buy into this argumentation very often. And then I enter the Calendly link, and then I wait. And you will be surprised how many people are going to talk with you. And now we are coming to the great moment that the person is already scheduling a date in our calendar. I am sometimes describing this in the connection message as well. If you use the Calendly link, then the date will be automatically synchronized across all time zones and written in our both calendars, so people are not scared to click on it. And there are several other MeetFox, I don't know, several other platforms like that, Meet Me, whatever. I like Calendly a lot. It works perfectly fine. And in hundreds of meetings, I had only issues one time with some user on an Apple device. So it's very, very reliable, and everything works very well. And now we do have the magic moment that the person we would like to talk to is scheduling a date with us. And this creates a lot of stress. And I tell you, I am an outgoing extrovert in real life, but I was not very happy to start talk to people which I didn't know. So the first meeting was like crampy. The second was a little bit better. The third even better. And after the 10th, I stopped thinking about it at all. And yes, not everybody is going to want to talk with you. That's normal. It's a numbers game. So as my US coach was telling me, flood the zone. So the more you talk with people, the bigger is the probability that somebody passes your LinkedIn profile to the other person. Now, how am I running the meeting? So let us imagine the following situation. The other person is popping up on the screen. We see her for the first time. So first thing I'm going to tell to the people is, hi XY, thank you very much for making this happen. We have scheduled a short introductory call today. Does it still work for you? This is a very, very important question, because if I tell the people, does it still work for you, with this, I'm handing over the control to the other person. And the other person is entitled to say no. A person who is entitled to say no feels psychologically safe, because the person who can say no is in control of the situation. So hand first over the control over the meeting to the other person. This is the first step. In most of the cases, the person say, Václav, go ahead, it's okay. Seldomly it happens that the person says, oh, sorry, something really important and urgent and landed on my desk. Could we reschedule it? Then it's clear, please reschedule. It's not good to rush something through in 5 minutes. It won't work. So let's find a new date and reschedule. In most of the cases is good. The second step, I am very briefly introducing myself. Okay, my name is Václav Šulista, 60 years old, chemist by education, spent 16 years with Novartis in this and this and that, and now I'm doing this and that. Full stop, very short. Most of the cases, the other person does the same and introduce themselves in a short way. And from the moment on, I am only asking the other person's question. And I am using for this a method which is called SPIN. SPIN stands for situation, problem, impact, need. And if you go to Google and search for SPIN methodology, you will find dozens, hundreds of articles or thousands and zillions of example questions. How can you prepare the questions catalog you are going to ask? Because in this meeting, you should be talking probably 20% of the time and listening 80% of the time. And if I put it back into screen sharing and show you the author of the book. So it's the book author. I'm starting with the book which is called The 20 Minutes Networking Meeting, and the author is Nathan Perez. So Nathan is the author of the book, The 20 Minutes Networking Meeting. And if you read this book, this is a really eye-opener. So please Google it, buy this book and read it. There are several editions. In my eyes, the best book is the executive version. And Nathan explains in this book all those important things which I'm telling you now. So it's not about you, it's not about your needs, it's all the time about the other person. Don't be too long, be short and specific. Ask and listen. Never ask for a job until the other person is asking you. And so how could this go? If you, for sure, you need to be prepared, because you need to have a set of questions which is around the career of the other person, the content of their work, and it shouldn't sound like an interrogation. So it should be a friendly talk between two people, and that's all. And again, here, it's very, very important to have the right mindset, and the right mindset is the mindset of zero expectation. So I'm a raised Roman Catholic, but here I behave like a complete Buddhist. I talk with the person, and my only expectation, I will have a decent discussion with a new human being. That's all. I don't expect the person will buy something for me. In your case, you shouldn't expect that the person is going to organize you something, because in most of the cases, the person can't do anything for you, but pass your LinkedIn profile to somebody from their network. So imagine you are an active listener, you are asking smart questions, and maybe you are shortly commenting on some common experiences which you can have from the small company, from the same project, or for similar project and stuff like that. What is going to happen? That the other person is going to like you automatically. Why? Because simply you are giving space to them. You are not pushing, you are not asking for anything, you are not annoying them with any requests. You are simply there asking polite and clever questions and listening to the other person. The other person after the meeting automatically is going to like you. Why? Because you are different. As you know, most of the people are trying to ask you for something immediately. I think you know this annoying behavior from LinkedIn. Everybody knows it. You have a new contact, and the person immediately tries to sell you something. And it simply doesn't work like that. You first need to establish the human connection. And after you establish the human connection, probably the person may do something for you. And I am doing this regularly, that I'm passing a LinkedIn profile of people to other people when I think there could be a good connection for them. And not all the people are doing that. I would think we are a small minority, probably 10% of people are behaving like that. But those are the people who do something for you. And if somebody is already willing to give 15% of his or her time to you, probably those people are those who will be able to do the extra mile and do even something more for you, which means introduce you to some other person when you leave a nice impression on them. And this is the entire secret of successful networking. So please keep in mind, networking is not schmoozing. Networking is not about you, but it's all the time about the other person. You should go there with zero expectation. You should be a great listener and you shouldn't ask for a job. Those 5 points are very, very important, and much more is in the book. If I can share you once again my article. So the article is again here, view profile. Okay, career and branding tips. And let's go to the newsletter. Okay, scroll down. Here we go. So networking is the number one unwritten rule of success in business. Yes, what are the most significant secrets of successful networking? So here you have some definitions. Then you have the rule number one, starting the meeting, short introduction. Here is the SPIN methodology, situation, problem, impact, need. Follow up, I call it polite persistence. And what is happening from time to time, that people are immediately in the meeting asking you, are you searching for a job? It's happening from time to time, yes. And for those of us who are very introverted and must treat this networking for people who hate networking, and the author is Deborah Zack. I am connected with her on LinkedIn as well. And Deborah has written a fantastic book for those of us who basically are not those people who like to network. And the subtitle of her book is "You Can Eat Your Lunch Alone and Still Being Successful." This is the book. So for those of us who are introverted, please read this book. This is amazing help and gives you the energy to start with networking. So the 20 minutes networking meeting and networking people who hate networking, very great resources about networking. Read the 2 articles on my newsletter. And if you need anything more, you know where you can find me, for sure on LinkedIn. And I'm all the time more than happy to help my Novartis colleagues with anything they have. So reach out to me, ask me a short question. I'm more than happy to help you with your networking efforts. Yes, it's not easy. Yes, but those people who only apply for jobs that they find on the web or on LinkedIn, this is the classical fighting for the pinnacle of the iceberg. And if you do the networking, yes, it's not that nice when you start with it. It's like the stinky, cold wetsuit which you need to get in. But then you can investigate the iceberg from the bottom, and then that's clear. The iceberg is way better. And 60 to 70% of jobs are being published only pro forma. So if you're doing the networking, you can be the chosen candidate and the person who is discovering the so-called hidden job market, if you do it right. So this was it. I hope it energized you a little bit for networking. If you need anything, reach out to me, and good luck with your networking efforts. And I'm sure you will be successful. So good luck, guys.